Peep the imagery. Imagine if niggas really was who they pretend to be. Look, I run my city like the Flannerys. Y'all fucking up the game. Smalls, you killing me.
Y'all know what it is. The Garden Building. It's majestic. It's my podcast. It's the G1 Truth Podcast. Y'all know the campaign. Y'all know the slogan. I go everywhere. I eat everything. I talk to everybody. Let me put you up on game real quick. I had the pleasure to just meet these two brothers. Right now, I'm at WREK Radio, 91.1 FM, Georgia Textile, doing it with the Guard Ramo Techniques Radio. And I got to build with these brothers, so I had to get it in and talk about these guys' campaign. So for those that know who, but for those that don't, I'm going to let them break it down for you and tell you who they are, and we're going to go from there.
That's what's up, man. I go by the name King Fresh, man. I'm a culture curator here in Atlanta. Been doing so almost 30 years. I'm also the little brother of the one and only Dres Tha Beatnik.
Big up.
He passed away last year, man. The mayor blessed him with his own day. So I'm turning that day into a festival called the Beatnik Fest, where we be representing the 5 pillars of hip hop. That's MCing, breakdancing, DJing, we said DJing, graffiti, and knowledge. And MCing, you know, I've been doing events here in Atlanta for a long time, and I had to think of a dope artist to bring to represent hip hop for our generation. And so, hence this gentleman right here. I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
Appreciate that, man. My name Nando Smoove, the main man, Mr. Black if you nasty. Brooklyn in the building, Flatbush, Majestic was good. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, I got to talk about it real quick. Because let me tell you something, God. When I pulled up, I saw you. I was like, yo, this is not Atlanta. This is BK representing to the fullest. But guess what? When I looked at you, the first thing I said, man, must be from Flatbush in a star. Must be from Flatbush. Absolutely. I peeped the look. First, I was like, damn, this nigga look like motherfucking Gregory Isaac reincarnated. And then I said to myself, yo, you better watch it. You know what I'm saying? You did a lot of foul shit in the street, so make sure you ain't do nothing to the guard. And it's automatically a problem because he looked like he holding that thing on his waist. And we up here in peace. But I'm glad to have met you today. You know what I'm saying? Likewise, I had the pleasure to be part of the interview you just had on the radio. You know what I'm saying? And you got a real dope campaign going. And I had to catch up quick. You know, as an older cat, I done walked through hip-hop like hip-hop is my history. So what I say to people is like, I'm a walking lesson. So some things, you know, is already in me. Some things I gotta play catch up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I had to play catch up with your material, but I'm glad that I got caught up. And that joint that they just played, the satin shit, you know, it really displayed some lyricism. So I don't want to do all the talking, but I do want to say this. A very unique thing when it comes to Mandem from Flatbush is that as a West Indian, the vernaculars and the accent, you know what I'm saying, it really allows us to display a lot of versatility when it comes to lyricism. We able to bend words and syllables and play with things in a different way that can create a new style in hip hop. So when I heard you freestyle and on the record, satin, that's the first thing that grabbed me is your level of poetry. No. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I want to ask you real quick, where do you get your style from? If there is an origin, where did you pick up your skill set and want to, you know what I'm saying, pursue the art of MCing?
I appreciate that, man. Yo, high praise, man. I appreciate that. So the main thing for me was always about what I call it the chats. You know what I mean? Because for when hip hop, when I first actually heard hip hop, matter of fact, let's take it back further. When I was a kid, it was like a language. You know what I mean? When I was listening, I didn't know what they were talking about. You know what I'm saying? So it was like when I'm hearing them, it's like this is a whole nother language I ain't know. You know what I mean? So when I got older and I got equipped, got tuned in to what they was actually chatting about, I was like, all right. My main thing was to master the flow. You know, so when people hear me, it sounds like that conversation that I remember growing up. It takes me back to that place. You know, and the origin that came from that was really like Andre 3000 was my best example. You know what I mean? Shouts out to Outkast. You know what I mean? It was my best example of like somebody who talk, who like raps like they having a conversation with you. You know what I mean? But then when I pull you to full circle, like I said, Illmatic by Nas. Nasir gave me the tools, and then Ghostface gave me that, like, you know what I mean? Is that lingo? You know what I mean? Like, you feel what I'm saying? So it's like things when you hear it, it's like you gotta be like, yo, what? Like you have to either be from that time, from that place, from that area, or you gotta know me personally. But then once you get tuned in, once you get hip, it's like, yeah, you can't stop. You can't stop. You know what I'm saying? But that flow, that's the main thing. It's like it gotta be conversational. It gotta be as if it's just you and I. No matter how many people in there, that's how I wanted it to come across every time.
True indeed. How did you develop the concept for that song Satin? Was you thinking of something? What inspired you to really put that out? Because when you really break it down, for a cat like me that listens to a lot of music, it really comes from a different place.
Yeah.
Even down to the hook.
Yeah.
Everything comes from a different place. Lyrically, the beat itself is very reminiscent. Head nod. I don't want to never put nobody in no bag or no category, but there is a category that rings in my head, and that's kind of like a dope kind of lo-fi-ish beat. You know what I'm saying? But it kind of, yeah, it's very soulful. You know what I'm saying? So let me use that word. It's very soulful, and it attacks your nerve cells in a whole bunch of different places. It captures a mood. So what inspired you to kind of put that together?
When I heard the beat, it took me to like a lounge.
I say, the only weapon I will's a microphone. Along with my fist, I'm equipped with the gift to spit the everlasting. Flow so smooth, just like the clothes. What's that? Material. They call it satin.
Could only be
Flow so smooth, just like the clothes. What's that? Material. They call it satin.
That's why I heard like and I believe at the time too, we was happy. It was funny enough, we was watching Fighting Temptations, and it was that scene with Beyonce was doing Fever, and I'm like, all right, this is lit. Cause all I was thinking about was a lounge singer in a dress, real dolled out, you know what I mean? But I'm next to her rocking FUBU, you know what I'm saying? Something outlandish, you know what I mean? But I'm spitting, you know what I'm saying? Spitting that, whatnot. So that was the whole thing about setting the scene as if this is a speakeasy or like a bar. And the whole concept of satin is like expensive material, you know what I mean? Recapturing our elegance, you know what I mean? So that's why the whole talk is that way. I'm talking elegant, I'm sounding, you know what I mean? Even though I'm saying some real, it's like to counteract whatever the stereotype might be, you know what I mean? That's why I said, like, amongst these aristocrats, I'm never lacking no soul, you know what I mean? No matter how you want me to come across it, I can pitch it to you however you want, but the essence is always going to be there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I want to say this too. And Fresh, correct me if I'm wrong, but you definitely representing Philly.
Yeah, I was born in Philly. I was raised here in Atlanta. So
you know, I used to be in Philly. I used to do some things in Philly, and I was in love with Philly so much that I would just jump in my car and just run to Philly just to go get like 4 or 5 cheesesteaks and then troop right back. Stromboli, all of that. You know what I'm saying? But I was very much tapped into the hip hop scene in Philly with Kobe, I think it was Kobe Kobe or DJ Rand, you know, Power 99 FM.
Power 99,
you know what I'm saying? I was definitely tapped into that. And what I found with MCs from Philly, much like Nando and Brooklyn, and in particularly Flatbush, I find that out of all the boroughs, a Brooklyn MC is like a unique thing.
Yeah, facts.
I look at a Brooklyn MC, and this is what prompted me to do this this interview, this discussion with you guys, is that when I heard Nando, his lyrical ability, his vernacular, the skill set is very high, and it crosses between some really like gutter shit and very intellectual, because you're gonna have to listen to it again, and you gotta sit down and you gotta break down the wordplay in order for you to even really like. You can listen to it and like it, but in order for you to enjoy it, you're gonna have to play that again and listen, because it's going something in there is gonna catch you. So with that being said, there's a uniqueness with Philly MCs and Brooklyn MCs where I look at them like lyrical boxers.
Mm-hmm.
They're very much like a pugilist with the style. You know what I'm saying? Harlem, and everybody got their own shit, and we all share commonalities. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Harlem at times can be a little more swaggy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Bronx can be a little more hard. You know what I'm saying? And there's the mix between the two where everybody got some bars that's like really saucy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But a Brooklyn MC, man, Nando, you're a real pugilist with the lyric. You know what I'm saying? It was like a boxer. You got to bob and weave, and lyrically, you are taking people places. So I really appreciated you on that level. Is there something that we can talk about that said this is where this kind of like originate from, or is that like part of the 11 herbs and spices secret recipe? You don't want to give that out.
Basically, it's just like what you said about. So my approach is I think because of the maybe like I don't know if it's like how they be classifying like conscious rap, like backpack rap, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like with that that stigma, you know what I mean? My approach was it's easily can be taken as if like I'm looking to tell you what to do when it comes to these like conscious lyrics or whatever what have you, quote unquote. So I never want to approach it as I'm preaching to you. It's like I'm rapping this amongst the people. You know what I mean? Like from the front line, wherever have you. But I'm amongst it, going through it with you. So it has to be, I have to deliver it as gutter as possible because it's for my people. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So we can understand all hoods is different, but then in the same as far as experience. You know what I'm saying? Like every hood might be they don't look the same, but we experience different similar things. You know what I'm saying? So it gotta get across that way so my people can hear it. But then it has to still remain in the substance of what God put on my heart to relate.
Absolutely.
And, you know what I mean? To relate. So I'm always keeping true and staying true to me and when I'm rapping, but knowing at the same time I can't ever tell anybody what to do. Can ever direct your life because I'm still figuring this out with you. You know what I'm saying? So that's how the rap or everything has to come as if we the people, I the people, amongst the people, and for the people. You feel me? So that's basically what it is. It's precise. So I'm not offended, not even necessarily offended, but I'm not rubbing people the wrong way. Like, here it go. You know what I'm saying? This is like I said, it's the source. It's the source where I come from. It's with the hip hop that I know. Only way I know how to relate.
Understood.
Yeah.
Can we, just like I had to catch up, there's people out there that's going to need to catch up. Can we talk about all the projects that you kind of worked on as much as you can from day one until now so we can all get up to speed and then find out how can we lock in on some of that work, on your body of work?
No doubt. So around the time when I met Fresh, I was pushing Flat Kush Shav. And then I had a mixtape called Flat Kush Shav. That's on Spinrilla. And you know what I mean? But the old school throwback, right?
Like, you got really want it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
You want to find, you got really want it.
And then right now I got a joint called 1990 Now. It's on my website, thesmuseum.com. That's the SMOOSEUM.com. You know what I mean? That's where I got all my merch and all stuff like that. But 1990 Now, I'm selling it direct to consumer first before I put it on streaming. You know what I mean? Let it rock for about a few months or so. But I got Lucy's. I was telling them in there, I'm set to drop 76 joints between tapes and Lucy's. Yeah. This year we wilding out. You know what I mean? Excuse me. Next one. Yeah. I got to match that energy.
Boy.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a big order right
there. You know what I'm saying? So we going for the win. But right now I'm pushing 1990 Now. So on my website, the link is in my bio on my Instagram. Or you can type it in on the thing, no matter what. But yeah, it's a hip hop revolution. You know what I mean? That's what I call it because it's like I said, it's the what do you call them? A vanguard. It's the vanguard to what I'm going to be setting. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it was precise because it's the first thing that people are going to hear from me if you ain't heard Flat Kush Shav. So I don't give them too much, but I got to give them just enough.
The title alone speaks volumes. You just said it. It caught me. Flat Kush.
Yeah.
Dope.
You know what I mean? That's my shit. But yeah.
So let's make sure everybody get your social media handles so they know how to locate you. Where can they find you? Where can we find you?
On Instagram, Nando NANDO _Smoove SMOOVE. Twitter, Nando Smoove, everything Nando Smoove, NandoSmoove. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's museum.com. That's as well. You can find me there. It links straight to my socials from their website too. So,
You know, I interview a lot of people, and I try to catch people as early as I can because I can see when somebody about to blow.
Yeah.
So when it do happen, and I see you, I'm gonna be like, yo,
you was there.
I was there. Remember
Yeah.
me, God? I was in the building. You know what I'm saying? And fresh, you know, no need to say who you are because for those that know, they know who. And, you know, I never formally met you, but your presence is everywhere and your presence speaks volumes. You know what I'm saying? And you are very humble.
It's the first stage I crossed.
Word.
When I touched down in the state, it's the first man that gave me a platform to rap. You know what I mean?
The first opportunity that I had to really hear you express yourself when we was doing the commemoration for your brother, peace to the God, Dres Tha Beatnik. And I told you the story when we was at the radio station. Me coming from Brooklyn, it was very hard to acclimate here. I wasn't very friendly. You know what I'm saying? I never walk around smiling at niggas and talking like, hey, nice to meet you. My name is so-and-so. You know, I come from a place we ain't even talk to our neighbors. We don't even talk to neighbors. Somebody got robbed or shot. Then somebody come outside. Boy, this neighborhood get crazy. You know, we have to stick together and all that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of had, it was in an adjustment period and learn how to acclimate. You know, but in addition to that, New York also carries a stigma, like, you know, people may be gun shy to like want to approach. And it's the same thing with Philly too. I'm pretty sure Philly go through it because it's the same. Shit is raw. It's you know what I'm saying? So I had a hard time like meeting people, talking to people, and specifically I'm talking about the hip hop community.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Something that is very much so far in me that coming here and having a hard time to acclimate in the hip hop community, it really fucking got to my core. You know what I'm saying? But then I met your brother.
Yeah.
Your brother treated me like he already knew me.
Yeah.
And that shit softened me like a baby. He treated me like he knew me.
Yeah.
And then, you know, New York is a place that people that know each other don't talk to each other. You might just get the nod, like, you know, what up? And that's it. And if you say what up, that's like, be happy you got that. So I was going places and from meeting Dres, he was like, yo, make sure you come to this event. I'm going to be here, da-da-da. And it's the Fantastic Four and it's the MJQ and I'm hosting this and I'm hosting that. And at one point we was working together to bring EO Dub open mic, that's the longest running open mic in New York for 20 years, EO Dub campaign to Atlanta. We never really got that far, but he invited me everywhere. And everywhere that he was at when he saw me, didn't know me, was like, yo, what's up? What's up? What's up? Made me feel at home. Same thing with the guard Fort Knox.
Yeah.
You know, and if it wasn't for people like Fort Knox and Dres and my man Rand from the radio station, it would have been a hard adjustment, harder than what it was. So you carry a lot of that spirit. You know, you're very humble with your presence, but your presence is also extremely powerful. You know what I'm saying? So you are very much entrenched into the fabric of hip hop, period, but definitely weaved into the fabric of hip hop in Atlanta. So I wanted to rap with you about that for a couple of minutes.
Well, first and foremost, man, I appreciate you and sharing your story.
With a dope freestyle too.
Oh, appreciate it. I'm rusty, man. I'm rusty. I did it off the top. I'm rusty, but I got to get back. You know, this past year has been a tumultuous year, and so it's been a rough transition. But stuff like this helps me. You know, this is therapeutic. You know, hearing these stories, hearing how people receive my brother and the impact that he had on them. You know, because he had an impact on me, obviously. You know, everything that I am when it comes to this culture, hip hop, I learned it from being around him, watching him, being in his shadows, being at his events. You know, I always say, like, you know, he didn't teach me like a teacher, like, do it like this, say it like this, da-da-da. He just put me in the room. You know, he put me in the environment. You know, he allowed me to be around when I really was too young to be around. You know, I've been on this scene, you know, since I was 11, 12 years old. And naturally, I just picked it up and I've been doing my own thing. You know, like I said, we're 12 years apart. So I started doing high school parties. And my high school parties and the company I was working for, we did the biggest parties in Atlanta. you know, and so that's where I started. And we broke a lot of artists, Lil Scrappy, Trillville, Crime Mob, Dope Boy Raw. These are artists that came from my side of town, from our parties, and became who they are now, which we could send them legends here in Atlanta, you know. And so I became an adult and got back into the scene due to my brother, you know, wanting to help him out with his what he had going on with Fantastic Fridays and with his crew. And we wound up managing a club together, doing some events together. And then I had to branch out and, you know, kind of do my own thing. And I started doing Bonfire ATL. I started doing Tuesdays, Level Up ATL at department store. That's where I met him. And he came at, it's crazy because I didn't realize that you only performed there one time. Yeah. He only performed at department store one time. We was there for about a good 2 years. And then we transitioned to Auburn Avenue to the spot called the Warehouse. And I basically didn't want to stop doing my Tuesday nights. At that time, I've been doing them for 2 years straight. And I didn't want to stop. You know, consistency is key, you know, for us. And so we transitioned. The department store closed on a Thursday. By that next Tuesday, we was up and running, doing still, it was still Level Up then. And so I've been working with artists, helping develop artists, giving artists opportunities, putting them on different platforms, about 15 years now, you know, as a career. And I had my own venue, doing the same thing. And we still did Tuesdays. I opened it up for other artists, other people. My brother did events there. You know, it's basically a family business. And so I've been around it so long. I'm an artist myself, you know, but I always tell people I put that on the back burner. I don't put being an artist out first. You know, I have a responsibility. I host as well, you know, so
One of the illest hosts.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate that, you know, and that means a lot to me, you know, but primarily because I had the best to ever do it as a big brother. So it's like, if I don't, you know, it's some big shoes to fill, you know, and I tell people all the time, I would never try to fill them, but I'll hold them up, you know, so you can see these shoes, you know. And so it's just something that's been embedded in me, man. I love the culture. I love hip hop. You know, I have a lot of, as I say, a lot of cool brothers, man, that do this hip hop thing and have been doing it. And I'm just blessed and grateful to even be here, you know, and being able to put this festival together to celebrate my brother, celebrate the culture, and continue to do, you know, what I'm supposed to do, carrying the torch.
Absolutely. I know we having that at the municipal market. Big shout out to my man Matt Chu. He got a spot over there.
Yeah, shout out Matt Chu, man.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Me and Matt Chu was in the restaurant business together. I had a restaurant. He had one not too far from me. He expanded. I kind of failed. Yeah. So big up to the guard, Matt Chu.
He's still going.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He's still going with it. And I think he got a food truck now.
He got a food truck. You know he back on Howell Mill, man, at the gas station. Yep.
So that's pretty dope. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that event. We're gonna be giving it up for Dres. He got his own we got a Dres Day, correct?
Yep. So June 26th is Dres Tha Beatnik Day. Shout out to our mayor, Andre Dickens, for blessing my brother with his own day.
Absolutely.
And so I'm like, I'm not going to let this day just be a regular day. There's no way that we're going to do that, you know. And so we created the Beatnik Fest. And this will be an annual festival celebrating the 5 pillars of hip hop. This first one is just an inaugural event to kick it off, let the community know what's going on. We're going to have some MCs there. We're going to have some break dancers there. We're going to have some graffiti art there. We're going to have some dope DJs. And we're going to have some people that are very knowledgeable about the culture there. Shout out Minister Server and shout out New Face. They'll both be participating. And, you know, I have big plans for this. You know, I want this to be a couple thousand people every year to come and celebrate the culture, you know, and the essence of the culture and get into the fundamentals. It's my job and responsibility is to bridge the gap. So that's why I got Nando. You know, he's part of my generation. But he represents the culture. He represents the essence of hip hop, you know, with him being from Brooklyn, you know, we know where hip hop started, you know, and I do my own, I call it a content series. It's called The Fifth Element. And I just interviewed MC Shadi, who was the second MC to come out of Atlanta, you know, and so I got his whole story. So we'll be putting that information out, you know, but my goal and my drive right now is to continue to uplift my brother's legacy, carry the torch, and just take it to the next level.
Yo, I really I want to say that I really appreciate you guys coming on the platform and taking time to speak with me for various reasons, but first and foremost, you know, your brother's Dres Tha Beatnik. You're definitely waving the flag, holding the torch for the legacy of what he created and keeping it going, as well as making sure you inject your own flavor and do your thing as well, because you also have an identity. So we appreciate all of your contribution to the hip hop community. It does mean a lot for myself and for the others that follow me or carry the same type of ideology that I have about it.
Respect.
And I hope all of your endeavors, you know, come into fruition, and anything that I can do or members of the hip hop community can do, yo, we support your campaign 100%. Philly, stand up. Y'all know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Fresh is in the building. You
Yes,
know,
sir. Yes, sir.
Nando is close to my heart, even though we
Yeah.
just met, because I seen him. It's like, first of all, he's Guyanese.
Mm.
I'm half Guyanese, you know what I'm saying? And the West Indian is reeking off of him like bad, like the smell of ganja. You know what I'm saying? So when I seen him, I was like, yeah, I feel very at home. I'm talking to you, and you know what I'm saying, you're of West Indian descent, so big up to that and bless up. Big up to all my GT man them. You done know already. You know what I'm saying? Big up to Flatbush.
Amen.
Big up to East Flatbush. Big up to BK. So you know, with that being said, therefore say no more. It's the Garden of Building. I'm in the building. I'm cooling with my man King Fresh.
Yes, sir.
Philly stand up. Cooling with the guard Nando. You know what I'm saying? Philly and BK. That's a hell of a combination.
Come on
That's
now.
a lot of pain in the street.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I
So
just wanted to make sure everybody follow me on Instagram. The number 1, Kings with an S, Hands with an S, and please follow Tha Beatnik Fest.
yeah, absolutely. Let's give that to him again on Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram, Tha Beatnik Fest. THA Beatnik Fest. BEATNIK Fest. Please make sure y'all follow, support. Every year, the fourth Saturday in June will be the Beatnik Fest. Fourth Saturday in June. This year is falling on the 27th. So I would love for y'all to come out and support, check it out, get immersed in this culture.
How can we find you?
1 Kings with an S, Hands with an S.
1 Kings with a S,
Hands with an S. Yep, 1 Kings
and
Hands.
that's Instagram.
That's on Instagram.
That's what's up. Appreciate y'all coming on the platform. Y'all know what it is. The God Majestic. I'm in the building. It's the G1 Truth Podcast. Y'all know the campaign. I go everywhere. I eat everything. I talk to everybody. We out here cooling it. One yourself. Blow.